There was a man. Whether he was bright or stupid was not really important to the story, but he walking a strange way almost. He always seemed to have his right foot out more than his right, as if some sorts of internal instincts made him do it, but sadly, nothing ever came of it. He was a gay man who enjoyed the good anal rubbing, and he was on his way to a circle jerk when he saw something on the side of the road. It titillated his senses and made him question life in ways that had never even crossed his mind before. It was a doll. A doll, old looking, almost ancient, one might say. It caught his eye due to its porcelain white skin. Him being a black man in Harlem rarely saw such porcelain white skin. So he looked at it for a few minutes, thinking, wow, someone must have driven by and dropped it there. He never thought it could mean anything, but as he started to turn away from it, he noticed it move. Almost blink, in a way. He looked at it again to notice that the doll had slightly shifted to the right. He was intrigued. He went up to the doll, thinking of maybe just picking it up and throwing it away, doing a good Samaritan deed. But as he picked it up, he felt this disgusting feeling wash over him, as if he was meant to fight it. Once he had it in his hand, he did not desire to throw it away. He wanted to keep it for some strange reason. He couldn't justify it by any rational means, but he wanted it. So he put it in his little sack, and he walked home. And as he was walking, he forgot about the circle jerk, the perpetual semen that would be dripping from his face. He just forgot about it all, and he went home. As he arrived to his house, he opened his door, he kicked out some Asians that were having sex on his couch, and after that he sat down in his bed. He took out the doll and stared at it. He noticed something different about the skin. It was no longer the beautiful porcelain white that it had been, that had originally attracted it to him. It was red. Red. And he wondered why. How could it possibly have changed colors? Is it tinting? He did not know. He touched it, and at that moment a blood-curdling scream let out from it. He dropped it down, and he jumped up on his bed like a little pussy, and looked down on it, and he wondered what had caused that. He went to go look down the curve of the bed, and he realized it was gone. It was gone, and he had no idea what was going on. He began to inhale and exhale quickly and startlingly, but he didn't know what was happening. He had no idea. He heard some screams from the other room. He hopped up, grabbing one of his sex whips, and ran out into the laundry room to notice the two Asian men, dead, decapitated, and the little doll lying next to it. That little doll would grow on him. He'd find ways to bring it along on little trips he had and throw them in rooms with other couples. The doll had a mind of its own, and a controlling aspect of it made it so dangerous. He was consumed by it, consumed by the need to play with this doll. Even though this wasn't his normal doll, his usual dolls were big and blown up, but this one was small, a childlike one. After years of taking the doll around and almost experimenting to see what it would do to these different people every time it was different, whether it was penises being ripped off and nailed to the wall, or just decapitation, or sometimes they arranged the bodies in strange sexual positions and left them there. He became known throughout the world the cock killer, as he only targeted men. And it was a tragedy, for this man used to be a Harvard law degree is what he had, and he was a lawyer. No longer. He was a sick, twisted man who spent his nights giving blowjobs for money so that he could afford to keep living. He cared only for the doll, nothing else. Until one day he was sleeping in his normal alleyway after giving a blowjob to 17 black men, and he noticed something about the doll. He noticed that the doll was laughing. Laughing in the distance. And he was intrigued by it. The doll looked him in the eyes, turning her head for the first time. He was surprised, and she whispered, "You're mine."